significant time this season. LeBron's ankle sprain has kept him out the last few weeks, while AD has missed the past 2 months with a calf strain, although he's been cleared for full on-court activity and could return next week. And on the East Coast, the lethal Harden, KD, Kyrie trio has very rarely been on the court together. Steve Nash recently said they may not get any more regular season games with the whole roster. Chris, which team is in dire need to get their stars back on the court, LA or Brooklyn?
Well, obviously, they both need to get whole. I mean, and I don't mean just health-wise, but I mean chemistry-wise. The Lakers have an adjustment, too. Obviously, LeBron and AD have played together, and they've played with most of their teammates, but they haven't played with Andre Drummond. And if you look at their careers, LeBron and Anthony Davis, they've very rarely played with a low-post dominant scorer like Andre Drummond. Now, it'll help that Drummond is mainly a pick-and-roll guy. So he'll set that pick and roll to the basket. He's doing other things than just planting himself on the block. So I think they can adjust, and they will adjust, but it's an adjustment nonetheless. So they need to get together, too, and see what it looks like with if they can play two bigs, AD and Andre Drummond together with LeBron against some of these teams that go small in the league. So they need to adjust. But all that said, it's clearly Brooklyn. I mean, this is absolutely unprecedented. Now, I've picked Brooklyn to win it all. But what they're trying to do, we've never seen it. Their best players have played 7 games together. That you guys know it takes a while for teams to come together. We saw the Big Three in Miami. They didn't do it their first year because the chemistry wasn't quite there. We saw last year, it wasn't a Big Three, but with Kawhi and Paul George with the Clippers, they didn't play enough together to have the chemistry they needed in the playoffs. So if Brooklyn pulls this off and wins it, we've never seen anything like it in the NBA. And when you watch them play now, like when KD's playing and there's no James Harden or Kyrie, KD's handling the ball a lot, being a playmaker. That's not going to be the case when James Harden is there. So that's one of the adjustments. I mean, KD can do it. He'll be off the ball. But little things like that, they are going to need to have some time to come together and understand. And it's not just the stars. Now it's the rotation. Okay, how much time is Blake Griffin at center? Is Nick Claxton? He's been playing well. We got to get him some minutes. But against big guys like Drummond, like Joel Embiid, we need DeAndre Jordan. And Bruce Brown's been playing so well, we need him in there somewhere for his energy. Joe Harris got to be on the floor for his shooting. So there, and then I didn't mention TLC and Landry Shamet. So they have so many questions with the Nets to figure out that they clearly are the team that needs to come together. And here's the last thing about this. LeBron has proven he can lead teams to championships through adversity. He did it last year in the bubble. He did it in Cleveland when they were down 3-1 to Golden State. As great as the players in Brooklyn are, none of them have yet proven they can lead a team to a championship. Harden obviously hasn't. Kyrie hit the huge shot in Cleveland, but it wasn't his team. It was LeBron's team. KD was the best player in Golden State, but it was Steph's team. He was the engine that made it go. So LeBron's got some experience on his side that the guys in Brooklyn don't have, but Brooklyn's got more talent, and I'm going with them.
Yeah, Brooklyn definitely has more talent, and they have less time together. Obviously, you mentioned Andre Drummond being added to the Lakers, and obviously Anthony Davis hasn't played with them. LeBron hasn't played with them, and that's important. But I think because of the way LeBron plays, he's such a facilitator. He's so inclusive. The way he plays, that will mesh a lot quicker. My concern, and I get all the talent with Brooklyn, but there's a sense of pride that these guys have to have, and then there's a sense of pride that you have to remove. And when you listen to them talk, they just have this automatic expectation of, we'll get it done, we'll figure it out. And Chris, you've seen this. We've all seen this. We've all witnessed it. You talked about the Clippers. You talked about other teams that have tried to do something similar, and it just doesn't work out right away. It's not as simple as just because of the talent that is there, because of the talent that is possessed with these individual players, that you can just get them on the court and just make it happen. You talked about Steve Nash and the decisions that he's going to have to make when it comes to rotation, but ultimately it comes down to the fourth quarter. When the game is on the line, that is when you need to be in lockstep. I don't care what sport you're playing. I don't care if it's Monopoly. You better know what you're trying to get done and how you're going to execute it. And that's when you need to have that time under tension, under pressure, on the hardwood together, and they don't have that.
Here's what I'll say. It's not Brooklyn. It's not clearly the Brooklyn Nets who have to get guys back out there and have to have, you know, everything together for it to work out right now. And it's because it's by design, all right? I believe that Steve Nash is doing this by design. If you look at Steve's demeanor when he does his interviews after the games, when you look at the playful nature and the relaxation of Kyrie and KD and James on the sideline, that does not scream to me they're nervous. That does not scream to me there's concern. That does not scream out to me, oh my gosh, we have to get back out onto the court as quickly as we possibly can. That says to me they're pulling a Muhammad Ali on people. This is a rope-a-dope. The rope-a-dope is, oh, they got to be out there. They got to be playing together. There's not enough continuity, this and that. Well, you know what? There is so much talent on this Brooklyn Nets team. You know what they're able to do? Practice. And you know what they're able to do in practice with guys like KD and James Harden and Kyrie Irving and DeAndre Jordan, all those guys, and Green? Get great game-type, game-level reps. They are playing together, guys. They are getting their reps together. And listen, I know y'all may want to dispute that you can't reenact a real game environment in a practice. I would argue that for basketball. You can have very competitive. I go back to the Dream Team when Michael Jordan and all of those guys, their practices were harder than the games that they played. I think that it's overstated to say that these guys have to get back in the games and get the continuity in the games in order for them to have success. While when I look at the Lakers are dealing with two of their best players not playing because they cannot play. That is a very different approach than I am not playing you. I'm telling you, I may not play them all together until the playoffs. But in LA, that's a very different story. And again, the last time we were on this show, we were talking about AD and his injury. And last I told y'all, the way he grabbed that leg, and think about how long ago that was, that we was all together on Undisputed, and he was grabbing his leg, and I'm sitting there and I'm telling y'all, that type of injury, do not expect to see Anthony Davis. I don't expect to see him back. And if he does come back, it's going to be in a limited role, and I don't believe that he'll be in the condition to be able to have the impact that is necessary and needed to be what he needs to be as Anthony Davis. I don't think that it is Brooklyn that has the most pressure on them to play him. It's definitely the Lakers, J-Mac.
It's cute how LeVar's concerned for Anthony Davis and LeBron James. You know, the guys who just steamrolled the bubble to a title. I need to address something Greg said, you know? And also, LeVar, you said by design. The Nets are doing this by design. Yeah. Really? By design. Steve Nash just loves the idea of Kyrie Irving going AWOL. I'm out. I need some personal days. I'm out. I'll be back. But I need to really focus on something Greg Jennings said. I wrote this down because it was so good, Greg. You mentioned pride. The Nets have a lot of pride. I don't know if you're confusing pride with ego. And I cannot wait. The NBA playoffs are going to be great. The regular season, the injuries, you know, it's tough. I can't wait to watch this Nets team and the pride/ego situation. If they happen to go down 2-1 to the Sixers, or the Bucks, or maybe even the Celtics. And let's see what kind of pride egos in that locker room. Who stands up and is the alpha and says, listen, hey, we need to chill out and not get rattled. Is it going to be Kyrie, the guy who abandoned the team several times this year? Is it going to be KD, whose injuries, you know, injury history coming off the Achilles? Is it going to be James Harden, who's never won a title and has a number of postseason meltdowns? I like this team a lot. Broussard, I respect the pick. I think the Nets, at the last time we did this show in February, I think the Nets were at that point the favorites. I just wonder, Greg, you keep saying pride. Is it going to be ego or is it going to be pride? Because they have a rookie coach. We know they don't play a lick of defense. And I just wonder who is that guy. We know it's LeBron with the Lakers. Everybody will listen to what LeBron says. Paper clips, they don't have a guy that stands up. I just don't know who that guy is, Greg. And I'm concerned for these Nets heading into the playoffs.